Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee meeting. Today is June 21st, 2021. We do have a quorum, and I call this meeting to order. First thing I need is a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting and a second.
I make a motion to approve minutes from the last meeting.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, I guess we'll get started here with something that I'm looking forward to. Been reading a little bit about it. I guess, is this going to be a Kathy thing, David? Do we need to turn it over to?
It is. Most of them are going to be Kathy, I think.
Okay, we'll turn it over to Kathy, and she can tell us a little bit about it.
All right, Independence Day, it is on the 4th, the Independence Day celebration. Gates open at 5:30. Mixtape 80s, tribute your 80s band takes stage at 6 o'clock. We do have some door prizes we're going to be giving away. We've got some wooden flags and wooden crosses with the American flag, red, white, and blue.
Is that those ones I seen in your office type thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Those will be given away at the intermission during the concert. We're going to give raffle tickets out as they enter the field. And then we've got a few activities for the kids. We've got an inflatable, we've got a spider jumper, which is like a bungee jumper. And it does, and I say for the kids, I believe it's up to a certain weight, so adults would be able to participate as well. And then food vendors. And we do have a vendor that's going to sell light-up toys this year. So, and that's pretty much it. Fireworks at dark. So music's about 6 to around 8:45, and then the fireworks will start immediately after.
And who's the band?
Mixtape 80s band.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
So you talk about door prizes, or we we're gonna give away that Easter basket?
Not yet. We'll probably dismantle that and do that at a movie night or something, but we're doing.
Sorry, I had to be a little funny.
Flag. So, but that's pretty much what we've got planned for 4th of July.
Well, I've seen your Facebook post on that, so I'm going to try to share that at least this week. I'm one of those that likes to wait till we get a little closer because people forget. Mm-hmm. And I think I saw where, I think Smyrna is doing theirs on July 2nd.
Yes.
So people get to go see lots of the celebration. So
Yeah. So, and ours is on the actual day. So.
David, after the movie in the park up there on that sign, will they put up the flashing sign that says July 4th and all
They
that?
will.
Yes, sir. Yep.
That'd be good. And then, on your little thing you made up, Kathy, to put on Facebook, are you gonna like add who's gonna be there and stuff, or just celebration type? Like,
On
She
Facebook?
made several. She made two other kind of like vendor, kind of like spotlight posts like she does for the farmers market. So there's one out there for Mixtape that just highlights them.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
there's
I
one
haven't
for the
seen it.
door prizes also.
Yeah, I think we did the mixtape and the door prizes last week. And it was more of a spotlight on them to help bring attention to the band, to bring more people to the event. So we've got 3 different designs for 4th of July, trying to encourage people to come.
So we all need to, look that up and share it.
And we'll repost it. I try to give it an in-between, because like today I shared the movie. I try to space it out to where we're not sharing too much the same day, so one overshadows the one before. So,
Any questions about the 4th? Oh, and before I forget, I want to welcome Kristen Morlock to our board. She's our newest member. I don't know why I was thinking she was here last month. I couldn't tell you why I was thinking that, but Kristen's also on the senior board, so it's good to have her. She's always involved in things that we do, so I'm glad to have her aboard.
Thank you.
I meant to say that to start with, and I forgot, Kristen.
So I did have a question, and don't anybody throw anything at me. So I went to Simply Smyrna a couple of weekends ago, and they also had a beer garden. It was real nice. It was real small. It was, kind of all roped in. Everybody behaved. It was very nice. Just curious if we could have a few more of those at some of these events, like the 4th of July and things, while people are out there. I know it's a little too close this year.
David
but-
can tell you all
Yeah,
about that.
we would love to do that. I think what we're running into, which was a good test for us, is going to be this Old Timers Day, because it's Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
So when you've got a beer, like a distributor, vendor who puts in, and then they have to pay, I think it's $200 for the permit for that event, we can draw that out over 2 nights with Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
So if they have to pay $200 for each event, it's gonna be hard for them to get their money back, say, on July 4th. If there's some way, somewhere down the line, you could say roll 3 events into one permit, July 4th, block party, OTF.
Okay.
So that vendor's only paying 1 fee for one time, and you've got a blanket number of events, then it's gonna be beneficial for them. If I was a vendor and I had to pay $200 for for 4th of July, and I knew it was from 6 to 9, and I'd be lucky to break even, I probably wouldn't come. But if I had the opportunity to come to 2 events or 3, I'm pretty sure I'll make my money back.
So possibly the vice mayor and BOMA could discuss that with the city attorney and see.
So we're already there. As a matter of fact, that's where David's getting his information. I spoke with the mayor of Smyrna, and I also spoke with the attorney, Jeff Peach from Smyrna, and he told me how they do theirs. So that's the ideal. That's David. We want to come up with that also to see if we can, when they fill out their paperwork, to put down 3 or 4 events, that one application fee covers all 3 or 4 of those events, like David was saying. But I had an extensive talk with the mayor and Jeff Peach, their attorney. So, and of course, I talked to Evan. So, unfortunately, things got a little bit crazy. We didn't know what COVID was going to do. So, but we're hoping next year, we'll get.
Yeah,
we'll get
I
the
like that
ball
we're
rolling.
doing events that are for everybody. You have stuff for the kids, you have stuff for the seniors, you have stuff for the in-between, and I am the in-between. And sometimes when you go out to venues with concerts and things of that nature, you do want adult beverages, even if it's just over here for a little bit while the other parent or friends or whatever are over there. Just something I was thinking if we could include that more. Theirs was really nice, kind of like ours. You're just in this area and everybody was safe. Everybody was.
Yeah, and I think it brings a different element. It brings an added element. It's not for everybody, but it does cater to that group
It does.
that would like them. And I'm sure the way they had it set up, the way we had it set up, it's policed on both entrances, so nobody is leaving with one.
And there's a limited amount, so you don't worry about someone, having too much.
Yeah, and I think if somewhere down the line we could do a blanket number of events, we might have some resistance, I don't know, but, I mean, it's not something we're gonna offer for every event, we're not gonna do goblins and goodies or movies in the park. So we're gonna take those events that are geared to our bigger events with the music acts and the food trucks, and we'd like to offer that.
Right, those are the ones that I'm thinking of as well. I don't think I want to bring my granddaughter out to hunt Easter eggs and have a beer over here while she's doing it. Definitely not those events. But like you said, the ones with the music and the food, and you're gonna be there an extended amount of time.
Especially in the summer months
Yes.
when it's hot. All right, anything else? All right, Kathy, we'll move on to, I'm looking forward to this because I'm just a big kid, movie in the park with Tom and Jerry.
All right, Movie in the Park has been rescheduled to this Friday, June 25th. Senior Center and Kona Ice are going to be there selling concessions. Gates open around 7, movie starts at dark, which is around 8:15-ish. After this month, we had mentioned possibly skipping July because of 4th of July. It would be back-to-back. And so that was an idea that we'd run across because this one did get pushed back. And then you got 4th of July, and then that following Friday would be the Movie in the Park. So it might not be again till August.
It's also really, really, really hot.
It is very hot, humid, yes. So that had been an idea tossed out because
Well,
of,
and we own that now, so we're in the process of trying to figure out how many staff members it takes to set it up and break it down. So we're kind of short-staffed right now also. We've got some positions available. So with it hitting back to back to back like that, there's a good possibility we may skip that one just so we can get some more people in place and make sure we got enough staff to work it.
Is there a reason why there's not one, say, in like September or October because the weather is still really nice?
I'm sorry, what?
A reason why there's not going to be a movie after August?
Well, there possibly will be. The movie in the park through the summer months ends at August because school goes back.
Oh, gotcha.
But also you've got September 18th is Old Timers. There's a lot of energy that gets put into Old Timers. And then in October, we have the Zombie Walk, which is a Halloween-themed movie. It's been canceled the last 2 years for weather.
Gotcha.
So potentially September would get skipped, but we would have one in October. It's just not part of the series for
I
the
gotcha.
summer. Yeah.
I didn't realize it was under a series thing.
Yeah, it was made to August because of school being out, but it was also set for the second Friday of every month. It's not necessarily going to be the second Friday in October, so it'll be its own individual event.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's because I'm getting older, but it seems like since I've gotten into the city thing and running these boards and stuff, and especially since you've come aboard, Kathy, and planning everything, it just seems like months just go by so fast. We start talking about July 4th in January, and here it is. I mean, that's the way it feels to me. I don't know about you.
This year's flown.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about farmers market.
Okay, it's still doing good. We had 26 vendors. The foot traffic has slowed down. But as far as the vendor participation, we're still maintaining the vendor. We had about 60 applicants, and then some don't come every week. So on average, it's about 26. I think we've had 30 1 week. So the vendor's doing pretty good. We just need to get the foot traffic in to support the vendors so that they continue to come.
I like what you did down there Saturday. You scooted everybody around to make it more.
We made it tighter because we
Make
were
it
having an issue where we were getting some vendor responses, and then morning of, something might happen, so we had gaps. So we made it a tighter fit to where it stopped at the corner going around City Hall to where nobody had to round the corner and nobody got skipped up there. So it was tighter. We had 26 vendors in that small spot, which made it a little better. So.
Is there anything that we can do to try to push for more foot traffic? I mean, I guess maybe on our own individual pages?
I mean, it gets shared on all the Laverne pages, Rutherford County page. We post each Thursday. We verify the vendors on Wednesday and Thursday morning, so we post the vendors that'll be present as the information comes in. So we highlight who will be there, hoping it'll also attract. But we share it. I mean, unless y'all just share it yourselves, but it does go out to HIP Laverne, Laverne, Tennessee, HIP Antioch. It does go out to the surrounding areas. Lake Forest, we are Lake Forest. We share to all the groups around.
How's the produce? Is it in yet? Or are we still waiting? Because I did see that.
I would think
see a question about that.
this week should start bringing a lot
Okay.
more of that in.
Yeah,
Things are starting to ripen up, and farmers should start, picking and getting in here. This week, next week.
we have a farmer that lives closer to the Alabama line that's been bringing tomatoes in. They've had some tomatoes get ripe. Walker Produce told me July 3rd, that weekend is their big weekend for the majority of their produce to come in.
Okay.
So we're hoping to have a much bigger selection in a couple of weeks.
So we are going to have it the day before.
Yes, we will
Okay.
have it on July 3rd because that apparently is the biggest produce weekend of the year for the farmers market.
Okay, good. Any more questions about farmers? All right, we'll move on to Howl at the Moon. David's going to make that work this year.
Yeah, this will be our first one in 2 years. When we had it last time, 2 years ago, I think we had 60 runners, somewhere in that neighborhood.
The 2019, we had 97.
We used to have close to 300. We'd like to get that number back up to that. So we plan on doing that. I think online registration is already open.
We've got 6 signed up online already.
So we'd like to push that out. If you guys know any running groups, push that out to them. We'd like to grow that. That was one of our better events. And then, we changed it from August. It used to be the last of August, third week, fourth week of August, and we changed it back to October several years ago, and our turnout started declining, started going downhill. Then one year, we went from a Friday night to a Saturday, had like 15, 20 runners signed up the week of, so we ended up canceling that one. And it has gone downhill now. We hope to build that back up.
Where is the link for that? Is that on the city page or on the Parks and Rec page?
It's on the Parks and Recs, well, it's under community events.
Okay.
So you can find it under both pages. There's a link. It's also already an event on Facebook.
Okay.
Sheila has researched some running groups in the area to share the information with, trying to recruit some of them. And then we're also going to reach out when the schools go back in, some of the track that was, we're going to reach out to the high school and the middle school and see if we can bring some of the kids in to run it as well.
I think this will be the first one that I actually missed. I think I've worked all of them, and I'm going to be out of town, but I'm going to push it out there and hope to get your numbers on up for you, and I'll be waiting for pictures.
Any questions?
Excuse me. What's the route for the 5K?
Starts at the back of the park, Veterans Park, back by the softball field, turns on to Floyd Mayfield, turns on to Murfreesboro Road, comes to City Hall, makes the loop here, and then back out to Murfreesboro Road and back to the park.
What's the
So the
deadline?
start-finish line is right there, back by the apartments.
What's the deadline for sign-ups?
Day of, we take registrations all the way up to the day
How
of.
much is it?
Is it early bird $15?
No, I think it was, bear with me. Sorry. I think it was 25, 30, and 35 maybe, is what it was. We have three different. We have a deadline for the early bird, then we have regular registration, and then we have in person.
Okay.
And I believe that was the increments, but I'd have to double check.
Yeah, 2019, it was 25. I just pulled up the 2019.
And it's the same, so 25, 30, and 35 then, 35 day of then.
What's the winner get?
You get medallions.
Overall male
And-
gets a acrylic trophy with the Howl at the Moon logo on it. It's kind of like a blue tint, and then the female overall gets the same. And then top three in each age group gets first, second, and third, male, female. So I think we'd have to see what the age runs like, maybe 50 to 54, 55 and up, and kids maybe 5 to 9, 10, something like that, 10 to 14. So
All
there's
that.
different age groups.
All of that info will be on the,
It is, it's all spelled out on the Facebook event.
all right.
Yeah, that's what they had in 2019. They had all sorts of age groups and stuff.
You running in it?
Me? No.
I would, but that pandemic, as you can see, put this weight on, so.
I'll have my green shirt on at a intersection or something.
I will cheer y'all on
All
from
right.
Tybee Island.
Yeah, that's when you go to Titan.
All right, we'll talk a little bit about the big boy, the Old Timers Festival. It's moved up this year to the 18th of September from last year. Mother Nature will probably make it smoldering hot.
And it's
I
a
know.
crapshoot.
I
Last
know.
year, it was so miserably cold. By the time the band walked off the stage, it was 40 degrees. It's hard to have any fun in 40-degree weather.
But the people still came.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we kept moving it back due to the COVID, waiting for schools to get in because the kids played such a big part in it. And we couldn't win. So hopefully this time, we're either going to be burning up, the weather's going to be perfect, or it's going to be freezing cold.
Yeah.
Because we have had it the 14th of September before, and it'd be miserably cold outside.
We had it October 5th 2 years ago and burned up.
I remember it well.
But I'll let Kathy run down the details on that also, because that's going to start Friday night.
We've got the Journey Resurrection or Journey Tribute Band is going to open it up Friday night. We're going to have the beer sales at that Friday night concert and a couple food vendors like we did last year. And then the parade traditionally Saturday morning. We're still trying to get some demonstrators. We've added a train to the event. You'll see it at the BOMA. But it's a trackless train that gives rides through the park on the walking trail. And then, the axe throwing. We've got the kids' zone lined up. We're getting a puppet show.
Hey,
Yep.
really? I think
With the
kids
puppet
love
show
it.
idea.
I do.
We've got Bob Tarter, the animal guy. He's coming back to do his animal education. We'll have a couple bands going on through the day. We've not chosen those bands yet. So pretty much the same as before, just different bands this year than last year. Ending it with the Eagle Maniacs Saturday night. They're our closing act.
Now, the Journey's the one we had last year.
Yes, and we're opening with them this year. And then we're
Eagles
ending
would
with
be good, too.
Eagle Maniacs. And they both should probably have about the same kind of following, which was a pretty good turnout, so, a
What do
really
you,
good
what do
turnout.
you mean by demonstrators?
Like the blacksmith, we had a lay
okay.
person last year. They just demonstrate their craft in front of people.
I got you.
And then I've invited a glass blower. I don't know yet if he's gonna be able to make it or not, but we're trying to get a few different. We've got a wood splitter demonstration, this year.
Hopefully we'll have the steam engines back, the guy out of
He is-
Eagleville.
He's confirmed.
Soap making, we're looking for anything like that. Butter churning.
Yeah.
We'd love to have something like that.
But
I always excited about that, so, again, it's a crapshoot, as David says, about the weather. Any questions? All right, now we're gonna move on to something I have no idea.
Well, we put this on there and we may have handouts for you guys. Do we have those?
you handed them out.
Oh, you
correct?
got,
Yes,
Yeah,
they
we
you
have
got
it.
those in front of you guys. We wanted to bring this to y'all's attention. This is a grant that's out there. The process opens up in August, runs through the month of August, the submittal process. So we wanted to get this in front of you guys so we weren't having to backtrack, kind of like we did with the TDEC grant, and have to call special meetings to get a favorable recommendation from the Parks Board before. We want to have that before we take it to the BOMA to get a favorable recommendation from them. It's a turnkey grant, $750,000. What you guys see there on that front page is, there are 6 designs to choose from. I think in the packet that we printed out for you guys, there's only 3. And the reason we did that, we kind of weeded through those. If you're interested in those 3, you can go to their website and look at those. The reason we took those out of there personally, one of them did not have a pavilion. One had an extra amount of green space in the center of it. And the third one was more geared up towards kind of athletics, where there was like a 40-yard dash that you had to have power there and a time clock. And we just thought somewhere down the line that was going to be issues for us. So these 3 here are geared more towards families and playgrounds.
Do
So,
we have a plot laid out or,
The city does
selected
have
for
some
this?
land, and I think if we were to get this, they would allot that land to us. There's, over the course of the last several years, the city has bought some land off Stones River there that eventually, my understanding, some of that may become park property. So if we were to get this, then we'd push the board kind of in that direction. It's kind of hard to walk away from something turnkey like this, especially with that amount of money that's involved. The city would have to provide the land. It would have to be, the site would have to be level within 2%. And I think we would have to provide probably the parking. This would take care of all the structures, the playground, the poured in place, the concrete, the pavilions, the trash cans, the picnic tables. So this is pretty much, we turn the land over to them and they complete everything.
Yeah,
So
this
who
is-
would make the decision on which park?
Hopefully you guys, whichever, like I said, there's 3 more out there, and please go look at them, and if that's something you're interested in, we can revisit that also. So we're not trying to impose our will on you guys by no means. We just thought, Andrew and I, when we looked at these, maybe these 3 fit our needs a little better. But like I said, the other 3 are out there also.
Just kind of wondered if we could do a poll at some point and maybe ask the citizens, which one do you like best? Like,
never-
once we decide, narrow it down to like 2?
And I think, a lot of these here, of course, they're more ADA compliant than any playground we probably have now. I haven't seen one of these. I think Andrew has. What do they call the swing set, Andrew, where the parent gets on there with the child? Is that,
Was it inclusive?
Tandem, maybe?
it may, yeah, it's in here.
I really like all of them.
That's a terrific opportunity.
Well, it would be hard to pass. I think
Yeah.
Blue Cross is investing, was it 10 playgrounds each year for 5 years?
Yes.
So they're gonna pick 10. They may be into the year 2 or year 3, but they're picking 10 communities and they're pretty much giving you $750,000 playground.
So when does this open up?
August, the submittal process is the month of August.
And we've got our grant writer ready, sitting on go, ready to go?
Yep.
And submit today, if we were to get approved, how long will it take? Couple years or?
I really don't know the time frame because there's not a whole lot of information out there other than this packet. And I'm waiting for an email response from them. They sent an email. Our system wasn't able to open it up. IT couldn't get it to open up and release, so I responded back to them to see if they could send it in another format. So we're kind of waiting on that just to get a little more information on that. I would say probably within a year, because they, Playcore is the one that is doing this for them. And if they're doing 10 of those throughout the state, I would think they try to knock them out in a year's time. So the next year, they got 10 more to do.
And this has nothing to do with what we've already got going, like with Brookside and all of that?
Yeah,
Has
totally
nothing-
different.
Totally different?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Questions? All right. Ice rink invitation to bid.
All right, let me go back. I think it may be the expression swing is
That's
where
what I was
the
looking at,
adult
the
and the
expression.
child gets in. All right, ice rink invitation to bid, that opens tomorrow. We had talked about it before. I think we talked about it with you guys before. In case we didn't, we'll fill you in real quick. Parade of Lights, I think we're gonna try to relocate it this year where it starts at the park and it ends here. We'd kind of like for it to start here and end at the park. So have our tree lighting ceremony there. It's a little bigger area. I think it'd be more comfortable for everybody. We can extend the hours a little bit. And then we'd kind of like to offer an ice rink. It's a synthetic ice rink that people actually use ice skates on. So it's probably the next best thing to ice. The cost to freeze water is just astronomical. There's no way we could do it. So if this is something we were going to try to provide, this would be the route we have to go. Positive reviews. We put it in our budget. The board approved it. What they approved was a 14-day rental period. We had gotten quotes 6 months ago, 8 months ago on a 14-day rental period. So it was the same for us to rent it for 7 days or 14 days. Anything anything over 14 days, the price was going to go up. So we decided on that, presented it to the board, they approved it. So then we start thinking, okay, what's the difference between a 14-day rental and the city actually purchasing one? If there's not a whole lot of cost difference and it would pay for itself within 2 years, would it be beneficial for the city to go ahead and purchase it? And then we could offer that an extended period of time, and it's something we could offer year after year. So it's out for bid. The amount for the rental price was above our threshold for where it would have to go out for bid. I'm not 100% sure it would have had to go out for bid. I think we could have got around that somehow as it's a service, but we wanted to have the quotes to purchase or to rent also. So we'll be bringing that back before the BOMA and let them decide what they think the best way to go is, whether we want to purchase it or rent it. Like I said, the rental price is already figured into our budget for this next coming year. If we were to purchase it, We'd have to figure out where that money would come from. Would the board be willing to do a budget amendment, which this budget, next year's budget hadn't even started yet. So that's something to consider. But if the rental price, say the price to purchase is $10,000, $15,000 more than a rental price, kind of makes sense to go ahead and try to purchase it. That way you own it, you know, and the lifespan on them is 10 to 15 years. That would come with skates, skate sharpener, skating aids, ring barriers, which would be kind of like the fencing around it. I think an underlying mat, and then the actual panels themselves. The panels are kind of like those big white cutting boards that you see, like the acrylic kind of plastic type stuff.
Right.
That's kind of what the panels are made out of. Some of them interlock kind of like a jigsaw puzzle or like dovetail, and others are like tongue and groove. So every video we've seen, everybody we've talked to, nobody has an issue. It's the next best thing to realize.
I like it.
So I do have a question about that. With the rental, now you said that comes with skates and everything that
Yes,
you
sir.
can supply to the people. But if we buy one, would that be an additional cost that we would have to buy skates also to provide?
No, both packages we put out for bid, the packages were exactly the same, like 75 or 80 skates, ring barriers, skating aids. So both packages were identical. We're just asking, some companies rent and some companies sell. Some companies do both, and some are one or the other. So hopefully we'll get 4 or 5 different bids and we can compare. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be apples to apples, but it's gonna be similar products.
Yeah, because I don't think any of us just got ice skates sitting around at home.
Exactly, that was my point. This is Nashville. You know,
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised, some kids do have, you know, skates. This would come with, like I said, 75 or 80 pair skate sharpener. And our location is, if we pull this off, I think we're gonna pull it off regardless. It's just whether we do it for 14 days or we own the equipment. It's gonna be the tennis court. The nets and the poles on the tennis court, they're sleeved, so we can take those out. It's a little higher fence. It's a little more secured area, so if we put it there, we're not as worried about somebody jumping that high fence as we are down at inline hockey.
So how big is this?
We bid out a 2,400 square foot, so that could be,
60 by 40, any,
So about like the skate thing up here? Or
it's
small?
probably not that big. It may be, it's enough for, it'll handle 48 skaters at a time.
Okay.
And what is the synthetic ice?
Synthetic
What
ice.
is that?
It's kind of like that white cutting board, that thick white cutting board.
But
I
it's
think
self-lubricating too.
the ones we bid out there's 2 different types of self-lubricating, which is the ones we put our bid out for, which the skates generate the heat and the lubricant's built inside of it, so it comes to the top to like cut down on the friction to make it slide. The others are, you have to go out and actually spray a lubrication on them.
Is there anywhere in the area that's got one of these?
There's not that I'm aware of. There is a church in Murfreesboro that does the solid ice, but the cost for us to freeze ice was gonna go, just say, from $27,000 as a figure to $125,000. So there's a big difference just for the,
So you say you're taking bids. I didn't even realize there would be more than one company that does this, but apparently if you're taking bids, then
we've had some pretty decent responses.
I think we've got 4 or 5 that confirmed that they're submitting a bid, that they overnighted them. So we should have 4 or 5 bids waiting on us tomorrow.
so you talked about putting it in the tennis court area, so it will only be open at certain hours and stuff?
Well, we kind of talked about that today. We're not definite on a hour yet. We're thinking about if we open it up in the afternoons, maybe 4 to 8, somewhere in that area. Saturday and Sunday, you know, extend the hours.
Will it have to be manned?
It will have to be manned, yes, sir.
I would think.
Yep.
Liability issues.
We'd like to have, if we can pull it off, our vision is to have at least 2 staff there and volunteers. We would need volunteers to take the skates, clean the skates, put them back up, sharpen them, hand them out.
So you plan on doing away from a certain time of the year with one of the tennis courts and keeping the other one?
Well, actually, we'd probably shut the tennis courts down for two weeks minimum and remove those poles because we'd like to keep the skates on there. We may have room to set up a changing area, benches, rubber mats, people sit there. And if need be, we'd like to have some kind of a music out there, whether we provide that ourselves, hot chocolate, so we can kind of incorporate that. I think we can, depending on how big the size is, we can put a lot of that on the tennis court.
So it'd only be out there for 2 weeks out of the year?
Well, if we rent it, yes, that's what Kathy and I were talking about today. If we purchased it, would we offer it for a longer amount, extended length of time? So that may go from, if it's a purchase from 2 weeks to, say, from Thanksgiving through December.
What are you thinking about, renting it to groups or something?
No, we wouldn't rent it to groups. We would have to get with, you guys and get your opinion when it happens. Is it something we offer to the city at no charge? Do we charge $5 a person, or how would we, approach that?
Would it
Well,
be
I know
seasonal?
the church in, oh, I'm sorry.
What's that?
Sorry.
I know the church in Murfreesboro took, appointments, if you will.
Yes.
Will we do that as well?
We would have to figure out some type of way to ideally schedule your appointment online so you can go in and pick a vacant spot and either have online waiver or have you fill your waiver out when you come to the site.
Okay.
Would this be seasonal?
It will be. Our plan right now is if we rent it to have it available maybe the weekend after Thanksgiving or sometime during that week and run for 2 weeks or 14-day period, at least to get us through the parade of lights.
That sounds really cool, doesn't it?
It does.
Any more questions?
I
I
don't
don't know
think,
how many people have ice skating. I haven't done it since I was a kid at Centennial downtown.
that's when I ice skated last, when I was small.
I think it would be a big draw. I think it would bring a lot of kids
They
out. and a
had
lot of
ice
families
skates
out.
back then?
They did, yeah,
Sorry.
and they didn't have lube either, you just skated.
Would there
I'll
be
try if you will.
a time limit?
I'm
I
down.
mean,
I think, is it 45 minutes?
We would have
hour?
to do 45 minutes to an hour time limit so that everybody'd get a fair chance to have some rink time, yeah.
Yeah, I really don't think that people would object to paying $3, something like that, a nominal price, to get in there and do some skating or let their kids do some skating, whatever, just, it doesn't have to be $5 or $10 or anything like that, just something, a little something.
Would it be age controlled?
That would probably be up to the parents. We haven't really checked into what the smallest age would be.
I mean,
Well, I'm talking about as far as having 5 and 6 year old out there with 13, 14-year-old.
I think you could have them all on the ice at the same time as long as your littler kids had a guardian with them on there.
So you can get out there and walk on it with regular shoes, not like ice?
I would think so, yes, sir.
I don't understand how that works.
Would it come with the, how you see on TV with the little kids learning?
Yes.
it has the aids, that's part of
Yes.
the bid request.
What we're gonna try to do is find a video clip and maybe get that to Glenn so we can present it at the Bowman workshop to kind of give everybody an idea, because you're thinking, okay, I'm skating on a big cutting board. How is that possible? And then you actually see people doing it and they're having no issues out of it. They're cutting, they're stopping. It's just like they're on regular ice.
But you don't have to have a Zamboni.
That's
I was
true.
gonna say, who's gonna be the Zamboni driver?
Me?
Any more questions?
We're good.
So on this next one, I'm gonna ask Andrew to pull his microphone down, and he's gonna talk to us about the dog park.
Well, so far, we met with administration, and as of right now, we went ahead and cleared the property. We had Tri-State land clearing out of Smyrna, come in and clear all the cedar trees out and the lower brush. And then we're just waiting on the state to come back. Adams got with the state, and they have to get a land permit or a soil disturbance permit. And then from there, we can go in and basically clear off the bigger trees that it's gonna be removed from the property, and then bring in dirt and start doing dirt work. But as of right now, we're just waiting on the state.
Now, I went by there, all of the trees that are remaining, those are,
Yeah, most of them, except for the center section, those are gonna be removed, because that's where the parking lot's gonna be. So,
Good.
but pretty much, we're gonna go in there and clean up what's there, and then try to put soil underneath and grass.
so to put you on the spot, any kind of, because I get asked about it, I'm sure you all do, any kind of E ETA?
It'll definitely be probably next summer, just because a lot of the dirt's being donated to the city from different contractors. So we're kind of relying on them. And then fencing material, of course, prices are going up right now, and supply and demand is there. So I'm gonna say our goal right now is to at least have it graded and in grass by fall. That's our goal. In the springtime, hopefully we'll come back, parking lot, structures. We got two pavilions going for each side. There's a small dog park and a large dog park, and then also fence it in the springtime. Other than that, maybe late spring, early summer. That would be an ultimate.
Well,
goal.
you know, when people ask you about things, you at least want to, because you don't want to lie to them, you want to give them at
Yeah.
least an idea, so,
It's definitely not going to be this year.
Okay.
I mean,
and that's fair enough, I don't have any
because
problem with that.
we're trying to do a lot of stuff in-house to save money. All the departments are pretty much pitching in, so that's where we're at right now.
Any questions about the dog park?
No, but I was super excited to drive by and see that they were starting
Me
to work
too.
already.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I think September is our deadline, and I am gonna brag on Andrew because we had a meeting here at City Hall, maybe on a Wednesday one week, and by Thursday the next week, he had already lined up people to do that land clearing out there.
That's
So-
why you get good people to make you look good.
That's right, I told you, man, all I gotta do is show up and draw a check.
Let them loose, let them loose.
If it was up to Andrew, that dog park, he'd be out there working on it right now.
All right, our next meeting will be on July the 19th, right here at 6 PM. Does anybody have any comments?
Before you go to that, can I make one more statement? On the Greenway parking lot, we are probably gonna close that Friday morning, July the 2nd, and keep that closed through the weekend and probably open it back up Monday morning, no, probably Tuesday morning, July the 6th, just because every time we don't lock it up around July 4th, we can't control the trash down there. People use it as a launching pad, and they
Oh,
don't take.
yeah, I remember that conversation from last year.
And we locked it up last year, if I recall correctly, but 2 years previous to that, we didn't, and we were down there 4 or 5 days in a row picking trash up.
I understand. All right, anybody got any questions, concerns, comments?
I just want to say I was really, really proud and glad to see that dog park had started work on it. You know, every time that we do something like that, that's really beneficial to people and something that they enjoy in their off time, their recreation time, it makes the town look a little better. It makes it a little bit better to live here, and that and this, you know, together. I see some good things happening. Yeah.
Anybody else?
Thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate you.
Yeah, I just want to go ahead a little farther with what Rick said, and I know a lot of people, I don't know who's watching at home. I'd like to think a lot of people does. I don't know who all watches. There's a lot of good things going on in this city, both Parks and Rec, citywide, but it's not going to get done this weekend. So when I hear people talking kind of negative, it don't take me long to figure out after I talk to them a few minutes that they're not up to date. They don't know the whole truth. So you guys are sitting in on these meetings, you get an idea of what's going on. The next thing I want to talk about was at the block party. It was awesome to see every one of you guys out there, including Jensen. He's not here. Everybody came out, and it was good. I think I introduced a few people to other citizens as this is one of our Park and Rec board members. I know Giles came out, and of course, Kristen's always at everything, Rick, and we all, you know, had a great time. Kathy put on a good show, had a lot of help with Miss Sheila back there and her fried bologna sandwiches.
It's the barbecue nachos.
It's the barbecue nachos, that's what it is.
And then the other thing that, it was too late to put it on this, but, next year, we're definitely gonna talk about it. Shamil Barbalosi, I hope I said your name right, Shamil, or we call her Sherm. Juneteenth has become an official holiday for July, or June 19th. And, this was her second year doing it. Last year, the pandemic was kind of slow, but she had it up there the other day. And I'm hoping that next year, we're going to get involved as a city. We're going to be advertising. We're really going to be blowing that up. We're not going to treat it any different than we would July the 4th.
We are meeting with her Thursday afternoon.
Okay, I knew there was some
Yes, sir.
talk. But it was good. I went up there, I talked to her. That is probably one of the most intelligent young ladies that I've ever had. I'm trying to get her to come and join one of our other boards. Her diversity is outstanding. So anyway, with that being said, I call this meeting adjourned.